up in this episode of YouTube, we have Dishy McFlatface taking on Matt Hardy.
No. All right. This may or may not make the intro.
Got goosebumps! You gotta be kidding me! You gotta be kidding me!
You gotta be kidding me. When you think about Starlink, you probably don't think about WWE, but I promise there's a connection here. Today I have a fun conversation to share with you with someone you might be familiar with. His name is Matt Hardy. He is a professional wrestler and also someone who now has Starlink, and he says it has just changed the way that he does things. Of course, being a professional wrestler, he has a lot of fans, and so trying to keep in contact with them and, you know, keep his work going while he had basically little to no internet connection at home was pretty much a struggle. So before this, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now.
No.
He told me he used to drive to IHOP just to get some Wi-Fi service there, and now since he's had Starlink, well, everything's different, especially since Reby Hardy and Matt Hardy, they homeschool their kids. So, I mean, you can only imagine how much Starlink has made an impact on their lives. Tell me, I mean, how it's changed your life.
I can actually watch streaming platforms now. So I can actually watch shows without downloading them, without having to go into a public Wi-Fi setting and downloading and watching shows. So I can watch them here. So for me, that's been a big game changer. And I think too, it helps us a lot because, you know, nowadays there's so much uploading and downloading of footage in anybody's work.
Yeah, tell me just kind of like before, you know, I was reading an article and you guys used to have to like drive 30 minutes to an IHOP or something.
That's where we typically went. It had the fastest internet, and Southern Pines is about 25 minutes from us. And there was an IHOP, and it was the best internet. And we would typically go there to upload things or download things or, you know, whatever it may be, especially if we had work-related things. So this has just been such a godsend. We had HughesNet before.
Oh, delete.
And it was just like literally enough to like have an internet connection. You could load a website or, you know, whatever, a basic. But as far as like uploading and downloading big files or actually streaming something, it was no good.
I also thought it was just crazy because, you know, these are obviously, they're celebrities. They have a good amount of money, and they were even trying to bribe internet companies to try and dig line to where they live. And just none of these things were working out over the years. And now that they have Starlink, things are so much better for them. When did you get it?
Yeah, it's probably been about a couple months now.
Okay, that's so cool. So how did the newspaper find out about it?
How did they find out about it? Because I know someone contacted you, right?
I had just been kind of on my own personal social media accounts, kind of in disbelief, like, wow, I have internet. This is amazing. Just like feeling like, you know, when everyone was in the 90s first getting, they're like AOL and they were like, wow, this is so cool. Like, freaking technology. Like, that's what I felt like. And then one of my friends had actually knew a writer who was doing a story on people with Starlink up in the mountains of North Carolina and how that was changing their life when it came to homeschooling and downloading schooling resources. Being with the pandemic and everything, people are we just don't have, if you don't have internet, you don't have access to different homeschool resources. And we actually homeschool ourselves. So I was like, man, do I feel that, you know, we're still on pen and paper books, you know, because of our limited internet, had to do everything old school, but now we're able to go online and like download worksheets and do virtual classes every now and then. And it's really cool. But yeah, one of my friends knew one of those writers and he was like, hey, let me follow your journey here.
Like in the article, it said that you had kind of begged, you know, different companies over time to like build lines out there, but they just like,
yeah, that
was a struggle for what, years?
Yeah,
forever.
Yeah, we had no companies that actually run like hardwired landlines out here. You know, our phone company with it, we checked with other phone companies. We were willing to switch all of our plans and do whatever if we get high-speed internet with it, but no one would come out this far.
No, we were bribing people We were like gangsta style. We were like, we'll buy a tower.
Yeah, my brother and I talked about trying to buy a whole internet tower and like setting it up and charging people. We were going to do anything. We were going to extreme measures.
So you must really like where you live.
I mean, I do. It's like family land. I grew up here. We have almost 100 acres. You know, and my brother lives on the other end of the property, and my dad, before he passed away, he lived across the street. So we were all kind of here, and it's just my brother and I, we grew up as kids and we had big imaginations. We didn't have a lot of money, but we played in the woods and we had a lot of area and space. And I wanted my kids to have all that space too. So I am a big fan of this area.
That's awesome. And, you know, it looks like you have, I mean, on Twitter, you have a pretty big following. So I'm guessing you need that internet connection to be present with, you know, your fans.
It definitely helps. Yeah. You know, especially considering going through the pandemic and my occupation of being a pro wrestler, you know, and like so much of that was, you know, I would travel to Jacksonville and we did shows in empty arenas, you know, with like some of the lower level wrestlers kind of sitting in the front row. So it seemed like there was a little background noise, but it was so strange and so weird because, you know, pro wrestling is almost like athletic theater in so many ways. And the fans are a huge part of our magic. You know, when you do something and they react, whether it's a cheer or a boo or ooh or ah, I mean, that is part of the magic. So it's been such a weird 16 months. We finally, last Wednesday, we're in Miami. And like, you know, now that arenas are opening back up and America's opening back up, we're out touring again. So that's neat. But so much of the stuff that we did, as far as like, I would shoot stuff in my house and I would send in for the TV show and whatnot. And it was so hard to do that without internet. That would be trips to IHOP or wherever it may be, you know, so we could actually get internet service that could send large files. So this has been great.
Yeah. So before this, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now.
No, we couldn't FaceTime with people. Like
FaceTime, no Zoom, no streaming. We actually just launched our own Twitch channel, which is something we wanted to do for a long time. And
oh, cool.
In 2 weeks, and you know, the kids can play online gaming and we can do the same. And it's opened up a whole new world of like bringing ourselves into the technology that I guess the rest of the world's been living in that we haven't.
Whenever I would do media, and so much of it during, you know, the coronavirus pandemic era was over Zoom calls like this, but I would have to like drive 10 minutes from here, you know, just where my service would be good enough to do it. Because if I would do a Zoom call out here, I could kind of get through it, the audio, but the video would always freeze or always, you know, and just, you couldn't do it. It's just was virtually impossible using regular service, you know. Yeah.
And this connection has been just seamless, flawless. So.
It's been good. Yeah. So far, so good. And we've like done a couple things, and our house is pretty big, and considering where the signal is, we've boosted it in a couple ends of the house, and we've had really great luck with it thus far.
Once again, another story that piqued my interest. I'm always looking for unique angles about Starlink to share with you guys, because I know that many of you are interested in learning more about Starlink, and it just seems like it is getting more and more popular. More people are finding out what the heck is this Starlink. I still have some people say, well, what is Skylink or what is Skynet? No, it's not Skynet. If you're new to the channel, I welcome you. Thanks for joining us. And if you're interested in learning more about Starlink, I'm always looking for unique stories like this one to bring you. It's been really cool for me to just see the progress of Starlink, and more people are having access to it. It's obviously radically changed lives for people in rural communities that, you know, were underserved with their internet access. And it's also exciting just to think about the future, you know, when we might have it for in-flight Wi-Fi, or when we might have it for your RV, have it portable for your boat, you know, for a whole host of areas that it will help us all be connected, because in today's world, we all know how important that is. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I am trying to give you guys new videos as often as I can. They're not quite on a set schedule yet, but I'm working on that. But when I find a new story, I'm just so excited about it. I want to get it out to you as soon as I can. So I really try to put a lot of time and effort in getting you the latest on Starlink news. So if you're interested in that, make sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you soon.